Hello and a warm welcome. You're watching Tracking COVID-19. I'm Anil Thomas. Lockdown 4.0 and day 2 of it with some relaxations and some precautions. This is our special half-an-hour show in which we tell you all the developments on the pandemic. We get you inputs about steps taken by the administration, inputs by our correspondents, global developments and experts' advice. All packed together in the next 30 minutes. Let's begin with the top updates. A number of activities permitted to be started in the national capital, Delhi, from today. Markets can open on odd, even basis, while taxis and cabs will be allowed to ply with safeguards. All industries, essentials, standalone and neighborhood shops can open. Uttar Pradesh extends lockdown till May 31st and issues new guidelines. Maharashtra allows all shops and businesses in green and orange zones to open. Indian Railways take over 18.5 lakh migrant workers to their hometown through over 1,400 Shramik special trains. Stranded Indians continue to be brought back from other countries under the second phase of Vande Bharat mission. Flight from Doha lands in Kochi, flights from Dhaka, Manila, among others, to bring back citizens today. In India, COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 38.73% with 39,173 people cured and discharged. Number of active cases stand at 58,802. Death due to COVID-19 stands at 3,163. Confirmed cases per lakh population in the country stand at 7.1 in contrast to 60 for the rest of the world. Global tally of confirmed COVID-19 cases crossed 48 lakh mark with over 3,18,000 deaths. In terms of number of deaths, the United States worst hit with over 90,000 deaths. Many European countries, including Spain and Italy, relaxed lockdown as conditions improve. Well, now for the stories in detail, but starting first up, let's move to the super cyclone story. Cabinet Secretary to chair the meeting of the National Crisis Monitoring Committee at 12 noon today. Apart from readiness of NDRF and Defence Forces, Power and Telecommunication departments directed to be ready with emergency response. Joining live with more updates on that story is Sudhakar Das, a correspondent tracking that for us. Sudhakar, good morning. Sudhakar, give us the sense of this particular meeting and how challenging is the role. You know, we spoke to the NDRF DG a little while ago. He spoke about the challenges with regards to this particular evacuation and handling this particular super cyclone, especially in the states of Odisha and West Bengal. What's this meeting and what are the important things that are going to be deliberated upon?
जी देखिए अनिल, 12 बजे ये बैठक कैबिनेट सचिव ने बुलाई है नेशनल क्राइसिस मैनेजमेंट कमेटी की, और ये बेहद ही महत्वपूर्ण बैठक है क्योंकि इस बैठक में न सिर्फ केंद्र के जो तमाम अधिकारी जो डिजास्टर से प्रबंधन से जुड़े हुए हैं, चाहे गृह सचिव हो, चाहे एनडीआरएफ डीजी हो, आईएमडी डीजी हो, डिफेंस सेक्रेटरी हो, तमाम लोग इस बैठक में शिरकत करेंगे, बल्कि उड़ीसा के जो डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट से जुड़े लोग हैं, चीफ सेक्रेटरी, प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी, ऐसे तमाम लोग जुड़ेंगे। तो एक तरह से फिर से आकलन किया जाएगा जो मौजूदा स्थिति है पिछले 12 घंटों में। कल हमको पता है, कल अनिल 2 बार एनसीएमसी की बैठक बुलाई थी कैबिनेट सचिव ने, और ये आज एक कह सकते हैं कि पिछले 24 घंटों के भीतर ये एक तरह से तीसरी बैठक है। और बहुत महत्वपूर्ण इसलिए भी ये बैठक है कि न सिर्फ जो तैयारियां हैं फोर्सेस की, खासतौर से जो ग्राउंड पर हैं, चाहे एनडीआरएफ की बात की जाए या स्टेट डिजास्टर रिस्पांस फोर्सेस की बात की जाए, उसकी समीक्षा की जाए, बल्कि इमरजेंसी में जो जरूरतें पड़ सकती है, क्योंकि डिफेंस फोर्सेस चाहे आर्मी हो, नेवी हो, इंडियन एयरफोर्स को हो, उनको भी इमरजेंसी में रखा गया है, स्टैंड बाय पर तैयार रहने के लिए कहा गया है, तो वो काफी महत्वपूर्ण रहेगा। और एक तरह से अभी भी प्रायोरिटी यही है कि जो तटवर्ती इलाके हैं, 6-7 जिले जिसमें उड़ीसा के हैं, 6 जिले पश्चिम बंगाल के हैं, उनको सुरक्षित स्थानों पर पहुंचाया जाए। उड़ीसा में बताया जा रहा है कि करीब 11 लाख लोगों को सुरक्षित स्थानों पर पहुंचाना है। पश्चिम बंगाल में भी ऐसे लोगों की खासी संख्या है। तो कैबिनेट सचिव एक तरह से फिर से निर्देश देंगे कि जो इवैक्यूएशन प्रोसेस है उसको हर हाल में आज शाम तक कंप्लीट कर लिया जाए, क्योंकि जो मौसम का अनुमान है, जो लेटेस्ट अपडेट वेदर अपडेट दिया गया है उसके मुताबिक सुपर साइक्लोन जो जब तट से टकराएगा तो वो एक्सट्रीमली सीवियर कैटेगरी में रहेगा। लेकिन एक्सट्रीमली सीवियर कैटेगरी का भी मतलब है कि करीब 190-200 किलोमीटर तक की हवाएं चल सकती है और ये एक बहुत तरह कह सकते हैं कि बहुत खतरनाक तूफान होगा, बहुत खतरनाक उसका असर हो सकता है, खास तौर से जो टेम्पररी कच्चे स्ट्रक्चर्स हैं। तो इस लिहाज से जो सारे प्रिकॉशंस बरतने की जरूरत है, जो चीजें डेंजरस हो सकती हैं उन चीजों से लोगों को दूर रखने की जरूरत है। इसके अलावा इस बात का भी आकलन कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी करेंगे, क्योंकि आशंका ये है कि काफी मात्रा में जो पावर लाइंस है, ट्रांसमिशन लाइंस है, टेलीकम्युनिकेशन लाइंस है, इन सब पर काफी असर पड़ सकता है। तो जो तमाम विभाग हैं उनको अपनी तैयारियों के साथ सजग रहने के लिए कहा गया है कि तूफान के तुरंत बाद नॉर्मलसी रिटर्न हो, इसके लिए ये तमाम चीजों को रिस्टोर करना बहुत जरूरी होगा। तो उस लिहाज से भी ये काफी महत्वपूर्ण है और एक तरह से कह सकते हैं कि 12 घंटे के बाद फिर से एक बार आकलन किया जाएगा पूरी स्थिति का। तो 12 बजे ये बैठक होने वाली है और न सिर्फ ओडिशा पश्चिम बल्कि पश्चिम बंगाल के भी अधिकारी और बाकी केंद्र के सभी अधिकारी जो आपदा प्रबंधन से जुड़े हैं इस बैठक में शिरकत करेंगे।
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us with those inputs there on that particular story at 12 p.m. Important meeting taking stock of the situation there when it comes to tackling the super cyclone. Well, moving now, coming back to COVID-19 and tracking COVID-19, let's first take stock of the developments there in India in Ground Zero. Well, first up, we show you the updated figures of COVID-19 cases issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The active cases in the country stand at 58,802. The number of people that have been discharged, that have been cured, stand at 39,173, while the number of fatalities stand at 3,163. Well, when it comes to state-specific, Maharashtra still continues to be the epicenter of this particular pandemic. Maharashtra affected with 35,058 confirmed cases. Gujarat and Tamil Nadu crossing the 10,000 mark, reaching 11,745 for Gujarat, 11,760 for Tamil Nadu. Delhi with 10,054 reported cases there, making that top four states that have been severely affected by COVID-19. Well, the Health Ministry on Monday issued guidelines on preventive and response measures to contain the spread of COVID-19 in workplace settings. According to the latest guidelines, any staff reportedly suffering from a flu-like illness should not attend office and seek medical advice from the local health authorities. Such persons, if diagnosed as a suspect or a confirmed case of COVID-19, should immediately inform the office authorities. Any staff requesting home quarantine based on the containment zone activities in the residential areas should be permitted to work from home. The guidelines also stated that the DOPT guidelines with respect to organizing meetings, coordinating visitors shall be followed to the T. Health Ministry, however, stated that despite taking the measures, occurrence of COVID-19 infection among the employees working in the office cannot be ruled out. When one or a few persons who share a room or close office space are found to be suffering from symptoms suggestive of COVID-19, the ill person should be placed in an isolated room or area. Central or state health authorities concerned should be reported about such cases, and a risk assessment will be undertaken by the designated public health authority. If a suspected case reports very mild or mild symptoms on an assessment by the health authorities, the person would be placed in home isolation, subject to the fulfillment of criteria laid down in the Health Ministry guidelines. The necessary actions for contact tracing and disinfection of workplace will start once the report of the patient is received as positive. Moving on, states have started announcing the relaxed restrictions under lockdown 4.0. While malls, theatres continue to remain shut, buses, autos, cabs will be allowed to function with certain limitation. Let's take a look into the new set of restrictions in different states, starting first up with Delhi. Restaurants to open only for takeaways. Sports complexes, stadiums will now be open, but spectators will not be allowed. Auto rickshaw, e-rickshaw and cycle rickshaws are allowed with single passengers. Cabs are allowed with 2 passengers, while maxi cab are allowed to operate with 5 passengers. Buses can operate with not more than 20 passengers on board. The passengers will be screened at the bus stop before boarding. Shops in markets will open on an odd and even basis. That's very important. The shops in the markets will open on an odd and even basis. Those things that were already shut, malls, cinemas, theatres, to remain shut. All India Institute of Medical Science, that's AIIMS, is going to resume its OPD services from this week. It's important for many people who are looking for this particular window. Buses of all 4 SRTC to ply from Tuesday, that's today. Karnataka buses for all 4 SRTC will start plying from today. However, only 30 people would be allowed to travel in the buses. All shops can be open. Autos and taxis are allowed with 2 passengers. Complete lockdown on Sunday. Economic activities will be permitted in the non-containment zones. Moving to Kerala, in Kerala, SLCC and HSC exams will be conducted from the 26th to the 30th of May as decided earlier. Public transport is allowed in a restricted manner. Travel fares are increased to compensate for social distancing norms. Intra-district public transport is allowed, but with only 50% of sitting capacity. Private vehicles are allowed within districts. Taxi services are allowed with 2 passengers, and auto rickshaws are allowed with just a single passenger in case of families. In case of families, up to 3 passengers allowed. 50% of the shops will be allowed to open in complexes on alternate days only. Moving to the eastern part of India, in West Bengal, all private offices are allowed to work with 50% of the staff. Offices in malls can also open. Inter-district buses will be allowed from 21st of May. Auto rickshaws will be allowed from the 27th of this month. Only 2 people will be allowed in autos, while beauty parlors and salons can open, and all equipments that they used must be sanitized. Moving to Assam, all offices have allowed or have been given the permission to function with full strength. Standalone shops can now be open on all days. All inter and intra-district buses can ply with 50% of capacity. Autos, cycle rickshaws, cabs and taxis will ply with only 2 passengers. Private cars are allowed to have only 2 passengers. However, there has been no relaxation in the containment zones. Moving to Vande Bharat Part 2, stranded Indians continue to fly back to the comfort of their homeland through the Vande Bharat mission. The latest special flight to arrive with Indians was from Doha to Kozhikode in Kerala. Special flight IX374 was carrying around 180 passengers from Doha, and it landed in Kozhikode Airport. Special flight IX0452 from Abu Dhabi also brought back 173 Indians and 2 infants to the state of Kerala and Kochi Airport. The passengers included 21 persons with medical emergencies, 41 pregnant women, 79 persons who had lost their jobs, and 19 stranded tourists. This is the 4th flight to Cochin during the 2nd phase of Vande Bharat mission. 2 passengers who showed COVID-19 symptoms were moved to COVID-19 dedicated hospitals. A flight carrying 41 passengers from United Kingdom landed at Gaya Airport in Bihar on Monday afternoon. This is the first flight under the Vande Bharat mission to Bihar. The flight had 31 passengers belonging to Bihar and 10 from Jharkhand. All the passengers will be kept in paid quarantine at the pre-purposed hotels and guest houses in Gaya. They will be released for their respective destinations after that 14-day period or 2-week period is followed. 5 more flights are scheduled for Bihar under the Vande Bharat mission. These flights are scheduled to come to Bihar on the 24th, 25th and the 26th of May, and 2 flights on the 1st and 3rd of June. Earlier, a total of 169 Indians were evacuated by Air India flight to Kolkata. The passengers on this flight include 73 students, 16 elderly people, 45 stranded tourists, 16 cases of medical emergencies and 1 pregnant lady. Not only in Dhaka, but people stranded across Bangladesh were identified, and the passengers have come from 18 different districts. In West Bengal, after completion of the quarantine, they will travel to their homes spread across more than 20 districts in the state. Meanwhile, 6 special flights from the Gulf countries of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain and Qatar will bring back more than 1,000 distressed Indians to the country today. There are 2 flights from Saudi Arabia. There is a flight from Riyadh to Kozhikode and another flight from Dammam to Kochi, which will carry around 150 passengers each on the flight. The Dubai-Delhi flight is expected to take back around 179 people, while the flight from Kuwait and Doha will take back around 350 people to Kannur. The flight from Bahrain is expected to take back around 179 people to Hyderabad. Priority is being given to distressed blue-collared workers, medical emergency cases, pregnant women, stranded tourists and elderly people to go back on these special flights. More than 40 flights from the Gulf countries are being operated during the phase 2 of Vande Bharat mission. The evacuation flight to Srinagar from Dhaka will be leaving today around 11 a.m. People at the airport are getting through health and other formalities. The flight is fully booked with 169 passengers on board, including 167 students and 2 elderly people. The students thank the Indian government for helping the return.
Actually, the High Commission of the India Dhaka, they are doing the good jobs for each and every student is here and also for all the citizens from the India.
Thank you to the government of India for taking steps to get the students back home safely. Thank you to the Indian High Commission of Dhaka and their officers who regularly made sure that every student is safe and help them to get back home safely. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Air India 1317 Manila Mumbai Visakhapatnam special flight is also scheduled for today. Well, talking now about Shramik trains to provide relief to migrant labor, Indian Railways is running Shramik special trains from all parts of the country. More than 1,400 Shramik special trains have operated so far. Since May 1st, around 18.5 lakh migrants have been ferried home. Railways Minister Piyush Goyal, in a series of tweets on Monday, said he had spoken to the Odisha, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh governments, and they have all assured him that they will permit more trains to their respective states. In the case of Odisha, migrant special trains would have to be suspended due to cyclone, and he also said, adding that after it passes, trains will be allowed into that particular state. On discussion about the migrant special trains with Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, Railways Minister said that he was given the assurance that the state will give permissions to run 50 Shramik special trains per day. Union Railways Minister Piyush Goyal also held discussions with the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. He expressed happiness that Yogi Adityanath has approved doubling of the number of Shramik special trains for the state. The Chief Minister is very serious about ferrying migrant workers of the state to their respective homes safely. Meanwhile, another special train with 1,520 passengers departed Goa's Madgaon railway station to Rewa in Madhya Pradesh on Monday evening. Another train with 1,290 passengers left Goa's Karmali railway station to Haridwar in Uttarakhand also on Monday. Shramik special trains departed from Mumbai on Monday evening carrying 1,342 persons of Tripura who were stranded in Maharashtra. Well, time now to take a look at some fake news that get busted by the PIP fact-check handle. Coronavirus outbreak in the country. The government has been stern in busting the circulation of fake news among public. One such viral video showing a woman traveling between train bogies with a baby states she is one of the many migrants who are traveling to their native homes in such a condition. The video has been busted by the Press Information Bureau. It has been verified and the video turned out to be fake. It dates back to 2016 and is from Bangladesh and not from India. Well, time now to take a look at some updates that inspire hope and positivity in tackling COVID-19 outbreak. Well, as the classes remain suspended across the nation as lockdown due to COVID-19 prevails, in this time, Education Department of Jammu and Kashmir administration decided to carry out classes without any hindrance. In the Union Territory's Kathua district, the department has initiated online classes in government-run schools to continue the study amid the lockdown. Online classes are being conducted through social media platforms like WhatsApp and YouTube. Students in the Union Territory are getting unique experience of studying at home during this particular lockdown period. In a unique innovation, a robotic designer from Tamil Nadu's Coimbatore has designed a robot to buy food items and essentials from shops in order complying with the social distancing norms. The robot, which is operated through a mobile network, can be given commands from anywhere and is able to carry up to 6 kgs of weight. This innovation comes in the line as people devise different methods to inculcate social distancing practices. In Bihar's Patna, folk artists are busy making reusable face masks with Madhubani and Manjusha paintings done on them. The initiative comes as an ideation of popularizing the Bihar art forms, and now with the demand of mask speaking, this comes as both awareness about both the art forms and the use of masks as a protection against COVID-19. The cotton masks are being supplied in the market at the price of 80 to 100 rupees per mask. Well, let's now quickly scan through the developments from across the globe in World Wrap. US President Donald Trump has once again attacked the World Health Organization or the WHO, saying that it has done a very sad job in its handling of COVID-19. He also said that he would issue a statement about WHO in the near future while considering slashing or cancelling US support. United States of America is the largest contributor to the WHO. Earlier in the day, Trump participated in a roundtable with restaurants executive and industry leaders as part of the country begins to reopen amid the coronavirus pandemic. Meanwhile, New Jersey, hardest hit by the COVID-19 after its neighbors New York, has allowed non-essential retail businesses and non-essential construction activities to resume beginning on Monday. A region in the western corner of New York that includes Niagara Falls will become the 6th region in the state to start reopening from today after clearing a final hurdle related to contact tracing for the novel COVID-19 virus. 5 regions across a large swath of central and upstate New York were given the green light to start the first phase of reopening on Friday after meeting 7 criteria focused on keeping hospitalizations and infections at a manageable rate. New York has accounted for 1/3 of the nearly 90,000 Americans who have died from COVID-19. Over 15,06,000 people are confirmed to be infected, while over 2,83,000 people have recovered from COVID-19. World Health Organization chief has said that an independent evaluation of the global COVID-19 response would be launched as soon as possible, and China backed such a review. Director General Tedros made his promise during a virtual meeting of the WHO's decision-making body, the World Health Assembly, at which Chinese President Xi Jinping defended his country's own handling of the crisis. US President Donald Trump has fiercely questioned the WHO's performance during the pandemic and led international criticism of China's handling of the early stages of the crisis. Tedros, who has always promised a post-pandemic review, said it would come at the earliest appropriate moment and provide recommendations for future preparedness. The global tally of confirmed COVID-19 cases crossed 48 lakh today, with over 3,18,000 deaths being reported. Britain, meanwhile, lauded the ease of drive-through appointments at testing units as the government expanded its testing scheme to allow anyone aged over 5 with COVID-19 symptoms to book a test to see if they have the virus. Londoners arriving at the test facility said that the process from booking a test to receiving one was quick and efficient. Britain's coronavirus test and trace app continues to be trialled on the Isle of Wight, seen as the key to easing restrictions on movement that has paralyzed economies. An expanded testing program and track and trace system are key parts of Britain's plan to move back to normality after a viral outbreak. Death toll in United Kingdom reached 34,796 reported cases. Brazil's hospitals are nearing capacity as the Latin American nation becomes ground zero in the region for a number of COVID-19 cases. Brazil now has 2,45,000 cases of COVID-19, the fourth highest in the world, surpassing Spain and Italy. The global distinction is likely to pile pressure on President Jair Bolsonaro, who has been fiercely critical of the orders by many of Brazil's state governors for strict social isolation and quarantine to combat the spread of the virus, including the closure of schools, shops and restaurants. As the COVID-19 pandemic takes its toll on people's life, imposing social distancing measures that keep families and friends apart, some Brazilians see the adoption of abundant pets as a way to appease anxiety and cope with COVID-19 emotional wreckage. Brazil so far has registered 16,853 deaths with 2,45,000 reported COVID-19 positive cases. In Rio de Janeiro, moving on, the coronavirus pandemic has left individuals with the sunniest of outlooks having a hard time staying positive. These are unprecedented times that require unprecedented efforts. That's all we have time for, and it's time for me to say goodbye. But do you know that life is at its weakest when there is more doubt than trust? But life is at its strongest when you learn how to trust in spite of the doubts. Take care, stay safe and indoors, being positive. Bye-bye.